Hi, I'm James Schillinglaw, and I'm here with Lauren Atlas, who's the new Regional Director Americas for Bedsonline. And if you don't know Bedsonline, many of you may have known it as Travelbound way back when, although they made that name change a few years back. But we're going to talk to Lauren about Bedsonline, how they've gotten through the pandemic, as well as new programs that they're instituting right now to help you sell more hotels through their very good system. And we're going to learn all about that and more on Insider Travel Report. Now, Lauren, as I always say, first of all, how are you and where are you?
Hello, James. I am doing fantastic, and I am in, it's not so sunny, but normally sunny Fort Lauderdale.
That's great. Well, you're a little warmer than we are up here in the New York area, although not too much today is not too bad, so we're good. Now you were just named Regional Director Americas for Bedsonline, which is part of Hotel Beds. What's your role now, and what are you really going to focus on?
Sure. So this role is kind of in addition to what I was doing previously. So previously I was over wholesale for Hotel Beds brand and our client technical solutions for the Americas, and now adding the Bedsonline brand as well, covering all of the Americas.
That's great. Now, let's talk about, briefly explain what Bedsonline does and how it helps travel advisors. It is, I assume, Hotel Beds is the larger company and Bedsonline is a division of it now, right? Is that correct?
Yes, correctly. So there's Hotel Beds Group, which is the corporate brand, holds multiple brands such as Bedsonline, CarNect, Holiday Taxis, and Hotel Beds. Hotel Beds is the brand that we contract hotels, attractions, transfers under, as well as our wholesale brand.
Got it. So, and that's what travel agents would use. And a lot of them do know you because it was very popular as Travelbound before Bedsonline became the new brand, which is now 2-3 years ago. I lost how long it's been. But, and I did, that's a question. I mean, you did change the brand name for the product that advisors we're familiar with. Do you believe you still have work to do to get advisors awareness of the Bedsonline brand and how it works with hotel beds?
We do. A few years ago, as you mentioned, we combined 3 companies into one to form Hotel Beds Group. So Travelbound was one of those brands. And then we kind of merged it all under Bedsonline. So that merger was very rough. It was a few years ago, but I know a lot of our partners suffered. I know my team, myself, suffered as well.
Right.
And for many advisors, their first experience with Bedsonline was really during that time. So even though our partners have told us that we've come so far in the last 2 years, we still know that we need to keep building that trust. We need to keep showing them the value of the Bedsonline brand.
And it is a great product. I mean, one of the reasons why Travelbound was so successful and now Bedsonline is that it gives travel advisors a leg up on OTAs, is that online travel agencies, is now you have a vast network of hotels that can be booked online by travel advisors with rates as good or better than what people might find with some of the online brands, right?
Exactly. So, and that's what Bedsonline is. So it's an online booking engine as well as an API where advisors can get accommodation, attractions, transfers, car rental, all at really, really good prices so that they can compete against those OTAs.
And be commissioned on them, right?
And commissions, exactly.
Which is the key, because everybody thinks, which basically makes, why go to an OTA when you can go use your services and meet those kind of needs. Let's talk a little bit about the topic du jour, if you will. How has Bedsonline sort of adapted to the COVID world, and what changes have you had to make in your organization? Have you had to resize and rework the group to make it a leaner organization?
We have. I mean, today we're a much smaller organization and leaner as well than we were a year ago. And of course, between the lines of me saying that, you understand that we've had to make a lot of hard decisions, just like companies. And I think though the challenge of COVID, I mean, any challenge creates an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And we do have a smaller team. So our goal is to matter more to our partners, to really lean into them and get through this together.
No, absolutely. It's across the industry. It's been that way. I mean, no, but I guess throughout this whole process, do you think you'll be a stronger organization in the future because of it?
Yeah, I think we already are stronger. Okay. I mean, HotelBids Group overall was 6,000 employees. And so we, like I said, we're a much smaller organization. And I think that as a large organization in the past, we tended to throw people at a problem. And what COVID has done is it's had to force us to really upskill our team even more and focus on technology for solutions.
No, that's great. And I know you were going to talk about that a little bit about what you're doing. Now, what do you think is the greatest misperception about the Bedsonline in the market? I know even with TravelBound, everybody says, oh, you just sell European hotels, but that has never been the case. And in fact, you've ramped up hotels across the world, even in North America, right?
Yeah, it's actually not true that we're only Europe. I mean, if we look back to 2018, 57% of our business is and has been to North American destinations. So we were a domestic provider before COVID. We're a domestic provider. I mean, even more so now. I mean, now it's in the 60%.
Right.
And we will be after as well. And I think that I like to say we're only as good to our advisors as our relationships are with our hotel partners and our attraction partners, right? So our hotel partners know that they can get high value business from Bedsonline because of our travel advisors.
No, that's great. And I guess the other misperception of it is that it's that you just sell hotels. And you mentioned earlier, you sell tours, activities, transfers, all that kind of thing too, right?
Yes. Our brand name is Bedsonline, so we're not putting ourselves out here, but we absolutely have a fantastic offering there. And I know the awareness is not where it needs to be. We have 18,000 attractions globally, 25,000 transfer routes, and an amazing car rental offering. So this could be maybe one of our best kept secrets.
Maybe you should just call yourself Bedsonline and a tour and a activity.com. How about that?
Exactly. Yep, throw .com on the end.
You have to put .com on it. Yeah. Now, what are you hearing from your travel advisor partners today? How are their bookings looking for, at least with you, for the second half of this year and beyond 2022? I understand that you actually have seen some pretty big bookings coming in, and I don't know why those are happening, but I guess they must be.
Yeah, so we're like I said, we're hearing good news from our travel advisors, and we are seeing an increase. So really specifically for the second half of this year and 2022, I think like a lot of companies, we're seeing a lot of demand, some fantastic green shoots, very long length of stay and high transactions. And we've also heard from some of our travel advisors, and this isn't from with us, but in general, that they're having bookings, some even in the six figures.
Wow.
Again, next year and end of the year. So, I mean, right now, like, good news is great that in the travel industry period, whether it involves Bedsonline or just our travel partners, we're really happy for them. So that's some of what we're hearing on the business side. I've been really excited as well to hear some of the feedback that they've had for Bedsonline, that helping our advisors get through COVID is our Book Now, Pay Later feature, which we've had in place for many years. And also this past year, I'm really proud of the fact, and I think our advisors are really appreciative, that we offered full refunds. So not future credits, but full refunds.
And then that is important. It's one of the things that travel advisors have been complaining about with some sectors of the industry, that they, especially in the tour segment and certain cruise lines, they want to, we've been hearing all about these future cruise credits or future travel credits, but some people just need a refund because they don't know when they're going to be able to go. So that sounds like a great policy that you have. Now, let's talk a little bit about the new leadership. Beyond yourself, you also have made some changes in customer service technology, your new Beyond the Bed program, which we'll talk about. What have you done in terms of your team?
Sure. So we made some changes with the leadership team. And I'll kind of touch on three different areas. So first of all, we have a new head of customer service. His name is Chabi, and he's from HotelBeds. He has experience on the commercial side. So being on the sales side of Bedsonline, this is fantastic that we have somebody with a commercial background who's met clients actually heading up our operations and service centers. We have also moved offshore service centers back in-house. So I think this is fantastic. And then number two, head of technology. So this is a hugely important role, especially for everything we're going forward with in Bedsonline.
Right.
And our new head of technology comes from actually the online gaming world. So a lot of experience with user experience, web usability, and just one of those conversations that you get off the phone with him and you're like, you just have so much more energy. So he's a fantastic addition from the team and from outside of the company. And then finally, number three, we've moved our beyond the bed full function to be within the sales team. Before it was totally separate, very siloed. And we also have a new head of that function as well. And Chris Leonard as well. He's a fantastic individual who's just going to do great things.
No, that's great. Although it sounds like, you probably he's going to try to get online gaming into your, too, which is actually very lucrative. So you might want to explore that. So
yeah, exactly.
MGM just is trying to buy a whole new big online gaming outfit too.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about some of that technology. I think you've created new functions, new automation. You've moved your marketing. You're working on helping map the client journey and add more value to this entire booking proposition. Can you tell us a little bit about that, how you're working this?
Sure. So we now have a department that is solely dedicated to automation and digitalization. So what that actually means, so if you think about a brand that you interact with in your daily life that kind of gives you delight. So like something that's really easy and almost anticipates your needs. So for instance, like my bank would send me a notification when they know I typically pay a bill on the 14th, they'd send me a notification a few days ahead reminding me of that. Like just that ease of use, that delight, this is the aspiration. This is what we're going for. So we've actually taken our marketing technology function, which we did have prior, we've moved it together with a commercial function, and together as now an automation department, they're working to map the advisor journey, identify the pain points, what's working, and then tackle all of that.
No, that's great. That sounds like a fantastic thing. And let's move to another topic. I mean, everybody's worried about financial viability of companies now, but the fact is, you got a pretty big parent, right? And I understand you've got the financing in place to get through this. Is that correct? I mean, should agents travel advisors worry about this?
We absolutely do, and no, they should not worry. We actually have two big parents, so Sind and the Canadian Pension Fund are owners. And I think we've published this back in April that we took out a 400 million euro loan from those two companies. We've exceeded every term of that agreement since then. And so not only am I telling you this, but we have seen across the world that our clients have chosen us over other suppliers because of that financial stability. And finally, I mean, look, as hard as the decision was to resize our business, that is the other portion, along with the funds that's securing our future.
No, that's great. And then every travel advisor out there wants to know they're dealing with viable companies that are ready, to get through this and look into the future. Now, speaking of travel advisors, you haven't been just resting around in the last year. It sounds like you've been busy developing new products and services for both your hotel partners and also your travel advisor partners. Talk a little bit, highlight some of those new products and services for travel advisors. I know there's a whole list of them, but you can tell me some of the main ones, right?
Yeah, I'll highlight a few because we have done so much over the last year, and not all of it has been necessarily completely tested, right, because of the lack of bookings coming in overall in the industry. Right. But the few I want to highlight that I think are really valuable to advisors. So we've launched a lot of self-help tools. We're calling this Self-Set. This allows advisors to manage their bookings, their customer service cases, 24/7 online, very easy. The second one is something we launched is a safe to stay kind of brand for hotels and attractions. Right. So this identifies any supplier that has gone above and beyond to meet safety and cleanliness standards. And we've built in a filter so that advisors can click on that filter and see only the products that fall in that category. And then the other item that I'll mention as well is our improvements in hotel content. Admittedly, I think this was an area that we weren't very strong in before, and we've made massive improvements in room descriptions, remapping and refreshing all of that room level information.
No, that's great because they really need to know that. And obviously health and safety is top of mind. And travel advisors have had to position themselves as kind of the experts in all these programs to say, okay, this hotel has this program. Everybody has them. And I'm sure they're all similar, but that advisor has to be able to tell their client, yeah, this hotel does this, because I can't tell you how many times people say, well, I don't want to go there. It's not going to be, I'll get COVID there, because I said, you probably get COVID better in your own apartment or house than at some of these hotels, at least the ones I've experienced. So it's good that you have that on there now. Now, a product I do want to highlight, though, is you've been testing sort of a self-sufficient service fees tool, so advisors can add more fees for their bookings and adjust the price, sort of, and empower them to as they win that sale from the customer. Talk a little bit about that, if you could.
Yeah, so right now we have it in beta, automating advisors' ability to add a service fee to the booking. So
Right.
let's say that they want to add $50. So first of all, we very clearly disclose that we keep 10% of the fee. So we're going to be upfront about that. And then what the advisors would do with this fee is we give them the ability to either include it as a line item or put it within the full price of the package. Mm-hmm. And if this is something that they have their guests prepay, they keep that fee, whether it's canceled or not.
No, that's great. So this is on top of the commission they would get from the hotel booking, and maybe some of the other things. But let's say they do a more complicated thing where they're getting a hotel, they're booking a day tour or something with you, an activity, they're booking a transfer, and then they want to put in a little their service fee on to add that on top, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's a calculator that shows exactly how much that would be. And it is on top of the commission. I want to take the time to mention that we're also testing a commission adjuster as well. So right now, all of our advisors have set commissions that they could manually adjust by contacting us. But right now we're testing where they could actually adjust the commission at any level of the booking. So that could be at the product level. It could even be at the room level. If they're booking 4 rooms, they could just do it on one, or they could just do it on the attractions as well.
Another thing you've been doing is there's a new white label marketing tool you're calling Compass, which also helps travel advisors to be able to market Bedsonline hotel content to consumers directly. Tell us about how that works.
So this was, first of all, a white label marketing function I think was always needed, but where the Compass was born was really from a place of demand was changing and is changing so quickly with COVID. What's open, what's not open. So the engine behind the Compass is that we're actually doing all of that trend research for advisors, and they can look at all of that, the trends themselves, just kind of absorb that data. And then on top of it, there's marketing features that pulls from that trend information, so that advisors can market hotels via flyers or whatnot to their consumers.
No, that's great. And I'm sure that's something, as we emerge from this crisis, that travel advisors will be using more and more of. So yeah. Now, what does the future hold for Bedsonline? You guys have been so busy in the last year, making all these changes and adding programs. What are you going to be doing in technology and else and in other areas to really improve the product?
Sure. So our advisors have told us for a while that we really do have a best-in-class website. Of course, they always give us input for changes, but overall, I think they've been very happy. What we're doing right now is we're really focusing on, again, mapping that journey, mapping that customer journey. We're working, and we've always worked to get our advisors input, and we want to get them actually involved in that mapping process and make improvements based off of that. So things that the technology improvements are going to fall like things that advisors can't even see at first, but the technology improvements will remove the pain points and even additional contact points that aren't needed, just to make us easier to work with.
No, that's great. And I guess, as you mentioned, easier to work with travel advisors. How are you going to do that? Or you already are, but what are some of the programs you're going to make it so much easier to work with you for them?
Sure. So really, again, twofold is we have areas of the website that we definitely want to keep improving, rolling out the features that our advisors have asked for. Last year, all of the features we rolled out were because advisors had asked us for that. So we'll keep doing that. And then again, as we map out this journey, we want to look for places post-booking, pre-check-in, where we can actually improve the experience of both the advisor and the guest as well.
And then you have, as you mentioned earlier, these programs like Beyond the Beds and some of these pre-buy accommodation contracts, things that you can help travel advisors kind of get a larger booking, I would think, out of this whole process, not just the hotel, right? Exactly.
Larger booking and more value add to the guest, right? Which means the guest will keep coming back. So our focus over the last year has really been on premium services, specifically on the transfer side. So we completed a full end-to-end audit with all of our suppliers. And with our new leadership, it's not rocket science. He's going to get back to the fundamentals and really focus there. And we're also on the accommodation side, we're relaunching our pre-buy contracting model, which, by the way, requires us to have cash. So just speaking to the financial viability there. And what these pre-buy contracts do when we have them flagged on Bedsonline, they actually allow advisors a more consistent availability, consistently better pricing, and consistently better service as well.
No, that's great. It sounds like there's a good future ahead for that. Is there anything else that you want to tell our 75,000 travel advisors about Bedsonline and its programs, and also where can advisors go to get more information about all this stuff?
I just want to say that, like I said before, we're truly all in this together, and we're more excited than ever to partner with you, with our advisors, and bring more value. So please visit us at bedsonline.com.
Fantastic. Well, Lauren, I want to thank you for taking the time to tell us all about Bedsonline. I've been following the company for quite some time now. I'm so old, I do say Travel Bound instead of Bedsonline, but I will try to get better at that and just say Bedsonline from now on. And it looks like as we emerge from this crisis, you're very well positioned to offer travel advisors. I know you have great relationships with most of the consortia out there. It's really, and everyone knows who you are. And it's such a great tool for advisors who want to really compete against the OTAs and more. So I think that's really clear. So we'll see what happens in the future, but it sounds like you're going to be getting out of this in great shape. Thanks again for taking the time.
Thanks, James. Take care.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.